Hello and welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will, and with me as always is the Forest Ranger herself,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and accessibility for Cascadia. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right. Cascadia is a puzzly tile laying and token drafting game featuring the habitats and wildlife of the Pacific Northwest. In the game, you take turns building out your own terrain area and populating it with wildlife. The goal is to have the largest regions of each terrain type and arrange animals as noted on the goal cards. The player who scores the most points wins. All right, well, so how does the game change for two players?
So the number of terrain tiles used changes from player to player. It's always going to be your starting tile plus 20 per player plus 3.
Right.
So for a two-player game, that would come out to 43 tiles used, whereas 63 in a three-player and so on. There is no bot, so you do not see a northwestern nanoman.
That makes sense.
In the northwestern part of the country.
Oh, I get it.
Yes.
All right. So issue with the two-player count is the fact that you cannot count on getting certain terrain tiles because of the distribution. All the tiles are face down and you're just randomly removing tiles. So it's very possible you're not going to have a lot of water or mountains or whatever it is. So that can be a little frustrating when you're trying to build your regions. But what it does well then is you're going to have a lot of variety from game to game because of that distribution. So pro and con with the same thing.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to accessibility. So the biggest challenge is those with severe vision issues are going to have trouble. And I'll let Will talk about this.
So when it came to placing the tiles, each tile is going to be comprised of two types of terrains. Mm-hmm. And it can have 1, 2, or 3 animals that can be placed on it. When you're playing this game and they start getting built out and you're keeping track of this region is mostly swamp and this one's mostly water and this one's mountain and I need to remember a bear can go over here but it needs to go in this shape. It's a lot to mentally keep track of if you can't just look down and see it.
Right. And as we'll talk about in the review, there were definitely a few points where Will told me that he felt I was kind of playing the game for him. And it's not that I was trying to, it's just he couldn't literally, it was hard for him to remember what was where because of the dual layer nature and just how much was out.
Yeah.
So that's going to be probably the biggest challenge. So what it does right, though, if you just have colorblind challenges, the terrain does have very distinct textures and colors. I don't think you're going to mix anything up because they're just so distinct. Same with the animals. They did a colored disc, but also each animal is, God, I'm forgetting the word, the screen printed. There you are. Screen printed on there. So you're not going to mix those up. A bear looks like a bear and a hawk looks like a hawk. So
a fish looks like a fish.
Yeah, I think it's actually supposed to be salmon, but it's a fish. It's the only fish.
Salmon specifically. I think elk and was it a fox?
Yes, I think it was a fox.
Yes.
And it is all open information. So if you do get something confused or whatever, you
can invite Sarah over and she can play for you.
Right. Cognitively, the game is really easy to learn, it's easy to teach, and there's a family variant for simpler scoring, which we did try. Slightly made it easier for you, but not...
I think, did I win that one?
You might have won that one.
Yeah.
The family scoring just pretty much makes it, you get, 1 point per an agree... I mean, they've really simplified it.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing with the normal mode, every animal scores differently. And in the family mode, every animal scores the same.
Right.
So it just makes it a lot simpler. All right. That's everything. Conclusion.
All right. For two players, would you recommend?
I'd say yes. I think this would be very enjoyable to play. I mean, it is very enjoyable to play.
Yes. Two-player has great variety from game to game. Very addictive playing. Easy to teach. Mm-hmm. Just a whole bunch of good for two players.
Yes.
Accessibility.
It's going to be yes, unless you have severe vision issues like Will does. this is unfortunately the kind of game that we have to avoid, and it's also one of the reasons why we took so long to try this. Hex-based and map-based games are usually very difficult.
Yeah, sadly, it's one that they did everything accessibility right, but when information is gathered in such a way and I still can't see it, that's where it just went above. You'd understand if you played this game blindfolded and then had people tell you what's in front of you. You can easily see how you can mentally get worn out by trying to play it.
Yes.
That's where I'm at.
Yes.
All right. Well, that will do it for us. Oh, but accessibility, yes.
Yes. It really, it's only going to be those with the severe vision issues, like Will said.
Yes. All right. So, Sarah.
Yes.
When it came to this game, did it give you your feel of the outdoors?
Sure. I don't really like the outdoors anyways, so if I'm going to play something that represents the outdoors, this is definitely a good way. Closest I ever want to get to be a bear, get to a bear, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even sure I'd want to get close to a hawk. I mean, that's kind of scary. So yes, this definitely gave me the feelings that I wanted.
Yes.
How about you?
This was Natural Geographic for me. There you go.
There you go.
All right, and why would you ever roll with just one when you can be
rolling with two?
And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two. That's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And if you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.